Now available for the first time in paperback. Why 70% of black women are single. Learn all the reasons why so many black women can't find a husband and why 70% of black women are single. Get your copy of Why 70% of Black Women Are Single on Amazon.com today. Popular YouTube personality and so-called relationship expert Derrick Jackson announced that he is divorcing his wife, Dania. Now, your Derrick Jackson was forced to make an abrupt announcement regarding his divorce of his wife, Dania, after another YouTuber and social media influencer, Tasha K, posted pictures of your Derrick Jackson on her social media, showing him at the side of another woman. Now, your Derrick Jackson was forced to make this announcement abruptly because once these pictures started to go broadcast across social media, it basically exposed him as a hypocrite and exposed his second affair on his wife. Now, your Derrick Jackson is known on YouTube and social media as a relationship expert who goes out here and puts on a cape to defend the irresponsible, reckless, and egregious behaviors of black women, all the while castigating black men for allegedly being men who go out here and cheat and mistreat black women, and gives a pass to those black women and as related to their behavior. And this behavior that he's participating in basically shows how full of it he is, because he's one who goes out here and talks about how black men need to go out here and elevate black women, and how black men need to give black women passes for all sorts of irresponsible, reckless, and egregious behaviors as they stay at their side. Now, when I take a critical examination of the behavior of Derrick Jackson, it fits all of the talking points that I make in my now classic video, Beware the Fake Good Black Man. And what your Derrick Jackson is that he's a fake good black man who puts on the veneer of what he thinks a good black man is in order to go out here and sell his books and sell himself to black women. So what your Derrick Jackson wants to do by putting on this veneer is make himself the ideal that black women talk about as related to what they want in a good black man. And he does this because he wants to go out here and create a covert contract with those black women. Now, the covert contract that your Derrick Jackson wanted to make with black women was he would go out here and give those black women a pass for their irresponsible, reckless, and egregious behaviors. And as he was giving those black women a pass for their irresponsible, reckless, and egregious behaviors, he was hoping they would go out here and give him the same pass to go out here and participate in his own irresponsible, reckless, and egregious behaviors. And that's exactly what your Derrick Jackson wanted to do. He wanted to go out here and be able to say, I'll talk about how black men need to treat black women, all the while getting a pass for him to go out here and mistreat black women in the way they say was wrong. What your Derrick Jackson is doing is no different than the black pastor who goes out here and preaches the word of God to his people who attend his church. And as he's teaching that word of God, he is not practicing anything that he preaches. Because that same black pastor, he goes out here and creates the same covert contract with black women, allowing them to get that pass while he can go get their money and get them to drop the skid mark thongs and allow him to put his carbon rod inside of their atomic waste reactor for some freaky nuclear fusion. That's what your Derrick Jackson was doing, the exact same thing, but he was doing it under the guise of being a relationship expert. And while he had the facade of a black wife out here to show how much he loved and cared about black women, your Derrick Jaxn was out here playing the role of the so-called good man so that he could go out here and be the bad guy secretly. And this is the kind of behavior he participated in the secret world, and it was exposed in two affairs that he's had right now. The affair he had previously, I think about a year or 2 years ago, and the affair that he's had right now in Florida. And in order for him to maintain his smooth world, what your Derrick Jaxn did, as he was exposed by your Tasha K, was he went out here and tried to go out here and say that he was justified in going out here and having this affair because he was having a divorce. Now that's a pile of complete bullshit as I see it, and I call it bullshit because he already knew he was participating in adultery, and since he was participating in adultery on his wife, he basically was not doing right by that woman. And what he was trying to do again was justify it and try to make his world smooth by saying, oh, I'm allowed to have an affair on my wife. But what he's really doing is showing the double standard that many of your fake good men do, and it's okay for them to go out here and participate in that wrongdoing, but he'll go out here and castigate any other black man who winds up having an affair with a woman. So he'll get out here and denounce another man who's exposed for having an affair, but he doesn't want anybody speaking about his own indiscretions that he's out here having with other women. And that is just the height of hypocrisy as related to guys like your Derrick Jaxn, but this is the kind of behavior that your so-called fake good man participates in. He goes out here and he puts on an act and creates a veneer and a facade, making it look like he's this good family man, all the while as he's been putting on that facade saying that he's doing right by his black woman, he's doing her dirty in the background by going out here and having all sorts of illicit affairs behind her back. And this is the kind of behavior that makes it where people just look at a guy like Derrick Jaxn, who goes out here and says he's a relationship expert, and make them finally be convinced that he's completely full of it. And what's even worse is that your guys like your Derrick Jaxn, as they're out here putting on living this double life, living one life in the real world, talking about how they're a family man and a good man, and living another double life in the secret world where they're warmongers, what they do is they wind up destroying the trust of black women worse than a player. And because they're telling women that they're seeing other women, the woman knows what she's getting into up front. And because the woman knows what she's getting up front, she knows not to invest emotions in this kind of guy. However, with the guy like a Derrick Jaxn, a fake good man, what he does is put on a veneer talking about how he's such a good guy, and he makes all sorts of promises that he won't cheat like the other man, he won't do a woman dirty like the other man. What he does is he winds up gaining this woman's trust, and he makes it where she believes that she's got a decent brother. All the while, as she's out here with this guy, he's living a lie, and when that lie gets revealed, what that does is break that woman's trust, and it winds up making that woman so emotionally damaged that she's no good to any other man, because she doesn't know how to trust another man at this point. And because she doesn't know how to trust another man at this point, it makes it just that much harder for the next man to go out here and have a relationship with her, because she's already had her trust basically violated, and without that trust, that woman cannot go out here and build a relationship with another man due to the emotional damage done by a guy like Derrick Jaxn and all of the lies he has gone out here and told. And it's his dishonesty that makes him one of the most reprehensible characters as related to the social marketplace. Your Derrick Jaxn went out here and he promoted the idea of a black man being a good man if he follows his principles, but your Derrick Jaxn wasn't even following his own principles at all. And what he was doing was showing that he really just wanted to be much like the so-called no-good black men who he castigated in many of his videos and his books. And that's, again, par for the course with the so-called fake good black man that I talked about in my recently classic video, Beware the so-called fake good black man. And that fake good black man, he will go out here, he will make the promises, he will go out here and talk the talk about how much he loves his wife, how much he cares about his wife, all while selling lies to black women like Derrick Jaxn did in many of his books, telling black women that even though they are obese, even though they are loudmouth, even though they have a bad attitude, there is a good black man for them. And he then goes out here and again sells this to black women, all the while doing this so that he can go out here and gain access to those women's wallets, gain access to the atomic waste under the skid mark thong, and make himself out to be a good man. But he's just making himself out to look good on the outside, because on the inside he's like a sepulcher filled with dead men's bones. Now, what I found to be even more troubling than Derrick Jackson's egregious behavior and hypocrisy as related to his message was his wife going out here a couple of weeks before this revelation and putting a curse on people on social media who talked about their marriage. Now, as I'm covered by the blood of the Messiah, none of that stuff can affect me. And as everybody out here who believes in the Most High, we know that this type of witchcraft, it has no effect on us. But it really shows how his wife basically is just spellbound and caught up in your Derrick Jaxn, and doesn't see that this man has basically gone out here and he's not what he says he is. And as he's not what he says he is, she's still trying to go out here and trying to stand up for a man who really does not stand up for what he believes in. Because if this man stood up for what he believed in, he would be practicing what he preached, and he would be following the messages he puts in many of his books, where he talks about how black women need to go out here and find themselves a good black man, and how black men need to be better. No, if he doesn't even follow his own messages in his own books, and again, he puts on a facade to make it look like he's this good man. And because he's out here and he's got the physical features like his chiseled body and his good looks, he sells black women snake oil. And as they buy his snake oil, just like they buy into the religion of the black pastor, they believe that they're getting something from your Derrick Jaxn, when all he's doing is screwing them out of their money, and he's just screwed two women in his bed. And as he's going out here and again going to Florida, he's trying to do damage control with this divorce announcement, because now what your Derrick Jaxn wants to do is he wants to go from being the man who was married and promoting those family values to becoming a whoremonger male, which is what he really aspired and wanted to be from day one. Because what the fake good man does is he goes out here, he'll put on that facade, he'll put on that show to get other women looking at him, because he knows that when women see his family and see him with a woman, they're going to covet what he has, and as they're coveting what he has, he's going to go out here and use that to go out here and get those women and get their money and get them into his bed, because that was his original plan in the first place. Because when it comes down to your fake good black men, like your Derrick Jaxn promotes, what they do is promote the idea that I'm the good man, But in reality, these guys want to be the whoremongers. They want to get the girls like Pookie and Ray Ray, and they want to be able to get in the women's beds and do all of the getting all of these panties. They want to be able to go out here and do this, but they can't do it because they're considered lames. So what they do is create the good man gimmick, make a lot of promises, and as they're making those promises to that one woman, they're using her as a way to bait other women, because when other women see a man with a wife, they just go out here and they start to get jealous of that woman. And as they're getting jealous of that woman, they're looking for a way to get into that bed. And that's the gimmick that Derrick Jaxn was using covertly, as he was out here overtly pushing how to be the ideal good man. Again, selling these women a ideal that he would be the good man when he was no good from the beginning. And sadly, because many women are gullible and others just get jealous, they see the so-called good man and look for a way to get that man away from that woman. And that's why they go out here and look to cheat with a guy like a Derrick Jaxn. But what your Derrick Jaxn wants to do is, again, just get those panties, get the notches in his belt, and do the same dirt that Pookie and Ray Ray are doing, because he is upset that they are getting all of the atomic waste and he's not getting any taste of that special place. And this whole case, again, just shows his hypocrisy, because he preached a message about marriage. He preached a message about being a good man. He preached a message to black women that there was always somebody for them, but that somebody was him, and he was looking to do them just as dirty as the other Pookies, Ray Rays, and other players out here. But he's just so dishonest about it that he winds up doing more emotional damage, because he was the one who earned their trust, told them he would be a good guy, told them he would do right by them, when he just showed he had no good character whatsoever. Now, most women out here, they're going to be like, oh, he's just another no good brother. Yeah, he is another no good brother, but the whole problem is that guys like Derrick Jaxn, like the Black Pastor, tell you what you want to hear, and that's the big problem with most black women. They get told what they want to hear instead of looking at a man's actions, because a man of good character is going to show who he is through his actions, and his actions are going to be consistent with his words. That's the difference between a man of good character and a quote-unquote good man. A man of good character is going to be consistent in his actions, and that man's actions are going to try to lead you from simps like a Derrick Jaxn, who go out here and look to pander to the black woman, telling her what she wants to hear so that she will buy his books, hoping to find her own quote-unquote good black man, but just all she's being sold is a lie to get another wolf in sheep's clothing, or depending on how attractive she is, and if she's in Derrick Jaxn's vicinity at one of his seminars, if he has them, he can go out here and get those panties and be able to say, I'm a good man, and I'm just getting me some of these good draws. And that's basically what your Derrick Jaxn wants to do at this point. After he divorces his wife, he's going to go out here looking to get all of those draws as related, and he's going to become the whoremonger that he always wanted to be, because that's basically what the so-called fake good black man is. He wants what's good for him, and what's good for him is the ability to go out here and get as many draws as possible, because what he wants to do is go out here and get all of these women that he thought he couldn't get when he was a lame. And that's basically what your Derrick Jaxn is. And again, he's been exposed as a hypocrite, and now what he wants to do is divorce his wife so that he can go out here and get all the women that he thought he couldn't get while he was married. Now, if you want to learn more about guys like a Derrick Jaxn, you can pick up my books, Stop Simpin', Why Men Don't Need Finance to Get Romance, and Manginas, They Look Like Men That They Act Like Ladies, which is a clear description of your Derrick Jaxn. And you can also pick up books like The Misadventures of Captain Savum and The Man Crisis. And if you want to learn why most of these black women out here are single, you can pick up my book, Why 70% of Black Women Are Single. All of these books are available on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. They are also available at other online booksellers like Smashwords, the iBookstore, and Google Play. And if you want to see me make more videos like this, you can donate to my Patreon, my PayPal, or my Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and e-readers, Spellbound, A Darker Shade of Black. Get your copy today at your favorite online